Steven Universe and all associated images are property of Cartoon Network, Rebecca Sugar, and any and all other respective owners. I don't know them all. All footage in this video has been used for the purpose of critique parody under fair use. Please support the official release. Well guys, it happened again. Another 10,000 subscribers have stopped by my channel and decided to stay. The 40,000 subscriber mark really caught me off guard. I was not expecting it to come as quickly as it did, and therefore I unfortunately didn't have anything prepared to go live when I reached that particular mark, hence why this video is only being posted now. And you may be wondering, AJ, what kind of video is this? You've never done anything like this before. Change is bad, unsubscribe. Well, hypothetical melodramatic subscriber, please hold on for just a second while I explain what exactly this video is and hopefully put some of your apprehension to rest. This is a new type of video that I've been planning on integrating into my schedule for quite some time now, and I just so happened to decide to premiere this particular video format as my 40,000 subscriber video. The fact is, I get a lot of requests to do videos on theories that are simply too small to carry an entire 8 to 12 minute video. I also come up with theory ideas of my own that are similarly just a bit too simple to incorporate into a full-length video. So what I decided to do is occasionally, in place of one of my regular theory videos, I will instead post one of these videos which touches on 3 to 5 of those simpler theories so that I can still get them out there without reducing my video length. We're taking a look at 3 mini theories today, all of which I've touched on a little bit on my Tumblr page, so it is possible that you have already encountered my interpretation of a few of these theories elsewhere, but I still thought it was important to put them all into one place and get them out there for all of my subscribers to see. The first mini theory I'll be talking about today is the theory regarding what type of gem centipedal is. People have suggested everything from emerald, which I don't feel makes a lot of sense because you would think that an emerald would be about the size of ruby and sapphire and have a similar cut to its gem, to another peridot, which also doesn't really make a whole lot of sense considering that peridots weren't put into production on Homeworld until after the war ended. But technically speaking, it is possible that either of those is true. However, I have a bit of a different idea. To me, centipedal most resembles chrysoprase, and I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. Chrysoprase is a type of quartz gem, and you may be thinking that that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Quartz gems are quite large, and last time we saw centipedal, she was pretty small. But if you look at centipedal as she starts to reform into her human shape, next to Steven, she is about as large as a gem like jasper. Her initial corrupted form was significantly larger than a lot of the corrupted gems we've seen, and in both forms she seems to have the long hair that is characteristic of quartz gems. There's also the fact that chrysoprase looks like this, at least some varieties do, with these little black bands and circles running through them that resemble the black band and circle that makes the eye shape on centipedal's gemstone. Not only that, but like most gemstones, chrysoprase has traits associated with it as a healing crystal. Among those traits are love and forgiveness. You know, such as the love and forgiveness that the centipedal showed to Steven in Monster Buddies. Everything just seems to fit very, very well for the centipedal to be this type of gem. Next up, I want to talk about a topic that I have actually discussed briefly in other theory videos here on the channel, and that is how Steven was conceived. And no, I'm not going to get into the birds and the bees here, obviously. No, I want to talk about the technicalities of how a being without any DNA was able to have a human child. Rose has been described as finding a way to incorporate her gem data with the DNA of Greg Universe. Additionally, we know from statements made by the crew that Steven was carried to term in a womb that Rose shapeshifted for herself. That tells us that for the most part, Steven's pre-birth growth and development was effectively the same as any other human child. The only issue here is that the method that Rose used to incorporate her data into Steven's DNA was to give up her physical body. She had to turn herself off, for lack of a better term, so that she could move the data on her gemstone into Steven and change his DNA. And I say that because, well, the only way she could do that is if little Steven was already there in her womb, and he already had been there for 9 months, growing to term. That means that the only way that the canon explanation for Steven's birth can be true is if he started out as a perfect clone of Greg, and that Rose somehow used the information on her gemstone to rewrite parts of his DNA after the fact. Now, it's possible some aspect of the canon explanation will get retconned down the line that'll make this make a little more sense, but until then, the nature of human DNA and how it works means that this is really the only way that the canon explanation can be true. Steven started out as a clone of Greg and was changed when Rose wrote her data onto his DNA. It fits with everything the crew has told us about Rose carrying Steven to term in a womb that she shapeshifted for herself, about Rose giving up her data to Steven, about Steven being anatomically completely human. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense from a scientific perspective. This explanation is so absurd that I kind of just wish Rebecca Sugar and the rest of the crew had left the entire thing completely ambiguous. Finally, I want to take a brief look at something a little more lighthearted than that last theory, something that's a little bit easier to internalize, let's say. That being Peridot's shipping chart from log date. Yeah, I know there's some numbers tacked on the end of that, but who has time to remember numbers, am I right? Since Peridot's shipping rant in that episode, and since her shipping chart was revealed, it has been theorized by fans that the Camp Pining Hearts characters are meant to parallel the gem characters in the show. The colors used to represent the characters on the chart seem to correspond with colors that are representative of the gem characters in the show. And based on the lines going between each of these figures on the chart, we can see that it does seem to fall in line with some ships that the fans themselves have brought to attention. We see lines going between the symbol representative of Pearl and the symbol representative of Amethyst, as well as a line going between the symbol representative of Peridot and the symbol representative of, again, Amethyst. In fact, it's this pairing that Peridot seems to be referring to throughout the rest of the episode whenever she mentions her preferred ship amongst the Camp Pining Hearts characters, Percy and Pierre. In fact, if you look at the casting information for the episode, the character of Percy on the fictional show is voiced by Michaela Dietz, the same voice actress who portrays Amethyst. And Percy's love interest in the show, the one that Peridot flat out refuses to acknowledge, Paulette, is played by Dee Dee Mango Hall, who voices Pearl. Peridot seems to be inserting herself into the place of Pierre, who she claims is Percy's actual optimum pairing, effectively breaking the Pearl X Amethyst ship and replacing it with a Peridot X Amethyst ship, which is what a lot of fans have done since seeing the two characters interact in various episodes. We also see symbols representative of Lapis, Garnet, and Jasper, and while there are no ships involving the symbol representative of Garnet, since Garnet is already herself a relationship, we do see two ships for Lapis Lazuli, that being Pearl and Jasper. Jasper, likely because at the time the two characters were fused, and Pearl because a large portion of the fandom ships the two characters together. In other words, what I'm trying to say here is that the whole thing is a big, complicated mess. And it seems to acknowledge the fact that Lapis and Jasper are, at the time, fused together, which is something that Peridot didn't know. Which seems to suggest that this shipping chart was put here specifically by the crew to get us talking about it. Are they hinting at potential future relationships here? Maybe. Are they trolling their audience? Almost definitely. There you have it, guys, my first compilation of mini theories. It actually went on a little bit longer than I initially expected it to. I'll have to work on that for future installments. And at the same time, there goes another subscriber milestone. I genuinely can't believe how far this channel has come. And I actually plan to talk a little bit about the roots of this channel relatively soon, so I'm not going to get all sappy about it right now. But I do want you guys to know that I could not be more appreciative of all of you. It's because of you, and I know I've said this before and it's probably getting old, but it is because of you guys that I am here doing this today. I have my flaws as a person. I work very hard to overcome them, but sometimes that just doesn't happen. But having all of you guys here taking an interest in what I do, in what I take an interest in, it makes me feel like I have a real future and inspires me to work hard to be a better person than I am today. All of that sappiness aside, let's close this thing out. Guys, what did you think of the theories that I touched on here today? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below. Either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later. Do you have a theory idea or merely a musing about the show that you'd like me to discuss? You can head on over to my Facebook page and send me a message detailing your ideas, and if I find them interesting enough, I'll be sure to respond. Or you could head on over to my Tumblr page and send me an ask. If it's not something that I've covered before, I'll be sure to answer. If you are on Facebook or Tumblr, I also recommend that you like and or follow me there as well to keep up to date on all of my content as well as any supplementary content that I might post on either of those sites. And if you know anyone on Facebook or Tumblr who might find my content interesting, please share it with them. I'd really appreciate it.